This is lesson 16 for course 1, rounding whole numbers and estimating. So when we're rounding, we need to pay attention to two things. What number are we looking at and what place is that number? So if we have the number, for example, 6,789. Now the 9 tells us to round, the 8 tells us to round, the 7 tells us to round, but you have to be really careful because the question is to the nearest thousand. Okay, because if I were to round using the 9, I would get 6,790. Okay, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. I'm looking for the nearest thousand. So you need to go through and go, okay, what number is the thousand? Well, this is ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So I'm looking to change this number, which means I look at the next number, which is 7, which tells me this moves to 7,000. Okay, this is the correct answer. So please make sure you look at which number is it telling you to round to the nearest of, because that will change your answer depending on which place value they're looking at. For the next one, we're going to look at round 550 to the nearest 100. Okay, again, you're looking at it, 550 to the nearest 100, ones place, tens place, hundreds place. This is the one we're rounding, so this is the one we look at, because we look at the one right beside it. 5 tells us we're going up, so this gets rounded to 600. Okay, always check what place you were supposed to be rounding, please. All right, no, so that's rounding. Just a quick reminder as well, whole numbers. A whole number is a number that is not a decimal or a fraction. It is just a normal everyday number. 1 is a whole number. Half is not a whole number. 1 is a whole number. 1.5 is not a whole number. This is one number, a whole, no halves, no decimals, no nothing. It's just a whole number. Estimating. So when we estimate or ask you to estimate, you have to remember that estimate means round. Okay, so if I had 582 and 675 and we're adding them together and it says estimate to the nearest 100, I'm taking these numbers, rounding them, then adding them up. So this one would be 600, this one would be 700, and I would add them together like that. Okay, this is estimating your answer. You have to round the numbers first, then do whatever it was asking you to do. So let's look at one together. If we estimate the sum, remember, you're going to have to remember what sum means for this. Estimate the sum of 467 and 312. If we're estimating, so we need to round the numbers, that tells me I need to round. The sum, remember sum means addition problem, 467 and 312. So it hasn't told me what place to round to. So to make my life easier, I'm going to go to the biggest place. I'm going to go straight for that 100. I'm going to go, okay, 6 tells me this is now 500, and the 1 tells me this stays at 3. And I'm going to add them together and get 800. I have now estimated the sum of 467 and 312. Okay, that is a similar question that you'll be doing in your work. Sometimes they will not say in a question, they won't say estimate or estimate. Instead, they will say about. About is the same thing. Okay, as soon as you see the word about, it wants you to estimate. Okay, they're the same thing. It's asking you for an approximate, not asking you for the exact. Okay, that's the difference. When it's asking you for an approximate number, you're being asked to round. When it's asking you for an exact number, you need to use the exact numbers given. That is lesson 16, rounding whole numbers and estimating.